Forge is a story about an art forgery ring down in Miami run by a pair of siblings. And meanwhile, there's an FBI art crimes agent played by Kelly that comes down to research and investigate some forgeries that crop up. I've always been a really big fan of the crime genre as a director and as an audience member. And growing up here, like I thought I had like the perfect family. And when I was a teenager, I found out on Wikipedia that a distant relative of mine had gone to jail for white-collar crime, and it kind of shattered my entire illusion of what my family life was. And I became obsessed with like researching white-collar crime, and art forgery is one of those things that became like a special niche topic that I knew anything about. So I wrote Forge because I love art forgery as a crime, and I thought it really connected with identity, and I want to talk about that in my movie.
Emily meets Raymond through Raymond and Coco's mother, and I love the way that Jing like crafted this story and sort of created this dynamic, because I think, you know, Emily has, because she met Raymond and Coco a certain way, has a lot of preconceived notions about this family, and, you know, she's lonely and wants her own family, and I think she kind of projects that upon them. And then as the story goes on, she starts to realize some suspicious actions are taking place, so their dynamic shifts.
Yeah, as Kelly's character, Emily, kind of meets Raymond, he's kind of living this double life. You know, he's on one end trying to appeal to his family, you know, as this like forward-facing, well-to-do Chinese son. They think he's a banker. And then, on the side, me and my sister have this like underground crime ring. So I'm kind of like doing this Hannah Montana juggling identities thing. And Emily kind of gets caught, catches me in the midst of that. Yeah, or we're to be determined.
Oh, yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah, to be determined if she
Maybe
finds
does.
out. Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't.
Who knows? Who knows?
You're gonna find out.
So Holden Beaumont is the character that I play, and he is an old money heir from the Carolinas, living in Miami. Prep school, Ivy League, Princeton educated, kind of prototypical, privileged. Old money white guy, and he's run into some trouble, and he hooks up with Brandon and Andy's characters to start forging paintings and making money. And I think everything after that is a spoiler.
So Talia, the character I play, is primarily known to outsiders as Holden's trophy wife, but in reality she's much more street smart than he is. She grew up in Cuba, came to the States, met Holden, and she thought she hit the jackpot. I mean, she's about to marry this guy, but guess what? You dude owe money to some people, and we are in deep trouble. So, Talia doesn't have any other option than joining this badass team of art forgery, and her role in it will be convincing Anna, the art dealer, that these forgeries are real and that they belong to his papa.
Yeah. I wrote the script in 2021, so quite a while ago, and it was my first project that I was working on right out of film school. And I read every book, I watched every documentary, and the genesis of Forge specifically came from the Knoedler Gallery scandal up in New York, and how the Chinese forger behind that $80 million scandal skipped town. No one has ever interviewed him. No one knows any details. I thought that was fascinating, and I wanted to make that story more me, more Miami. And so, I've researched a ton.
First of all, how cool to be an FBI agent. I was like, I've always wanted to do this. But further than that, Jing and I had a lot of conversations about what it actually meant to be an FBI agent. I think that, I grew up sort of watching a lot of TV and film depicting FBI agents in a very like glamorous, sexy way. And I went down an internet rabbit hole researching what it was actually like to be an FBI agent. Turns out it's not that glamorous. And so Jing and I really wanted Emily to feel like a real working person. So we had conversations about like the clothes that she would wear. Like she has these ill-fitting suits because she's not in a department that's really well funded. So yeah, it's been a really cool experience to sort of collaborate and like get in the skin of someone I think very much cooler than me in real life.
Definitely a lot of time just looking into different art forgery cases, also with the help of Jing, learning so much about art forgery. Jing really is such a trove of art forgery knowledge. I didn't know it was such like a prolific crime and all the various like brilliant ways that you can pull it off. But I learned a lot about art forgery just from this project alone. Also, as far as just like his family dynamic of trying to like be this, certain type of person to make his family proud, I feel like I could just take a lot of inspiration from observing my own life and a lot of my friends and family, because that's a pretty like common trope in Asian families is, you want to like present well to them and make your family proud, go to an Ivy League. All that stuff is pretty close to home. And I was like also just happen to know a good amount of people that have gotten into gambling trouble too.
Oh yeah.
So I was like pretty familiar with that whole world and kind of what those repercussions look like. So a bit of research and a bit of just like looking around at the people in my life, and I'm like, okay, I kind of see like where Raymond's coming from here.
For me, thinking about the model minority and Asian Americans' experience, like art forgery seemed like a natural like fit for me when I was writing the script. Definitely that case I referenced where the art forgery is a complete mystery was fascinating, because like what a jumping point for the imagination, right? It's like you can really start anywhere with an unknown like that. But also I think with art forgery, you were speaking to like, how do we value art? Like, how do we put a price tag on a painting, for example? And that's always been fascinating to me as someone who considers themselves an artist, hopefully, right? I'm always thinking about how we value art, how the market works, and art forgery is a natural part of that, I think.